Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off our conversation right away, Engineer Shaaban, now before we start talking about the new specifications and the factors and everything that has to do with the revival of the Tushka project. Now, this project has been a project of the 90s.
Yes.
And it didn't meet the aspirations that everybody had for the Tushka project. And there seemed to be problems or obstacles or challenges that arose during the establishment of the Tushka project. Now, before we start getting into the revival of it, what were the problems that arose decades ago?
First of all, the Tushka project was meant as a factor of safety to protect the high dam, the Aswan Dam. And the right description for Tushka was the Tushka spillway. Actually, it's a relief for the lake behind the Aswan Dam. When it was done with a study that considered that the flood is not really constant. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a high flood, sometimes it's a low flood. So Tushka was treated as a seasonal location mm-hmm. for for agriculture. So we couldn't really have a complete plan what to grow on unpredictable amounts of water. Mm-hmm. The difference between what used to happen and now you have a constant amount of water that you can actually consider having an agricultural program. Mm-hmm. I think in the very near future we're going to have to see I would say sustainable plantations. Mm-hmm. Because the area is a desert area to start with. In the north of it improves. When you reach the north of this desert, yes. You reach Minya governorate, you will find a better quality soil. But in this particular area, it is a sandy soil. And it was mentioned during the inauguration of the project that they're gonna, for instance, grow areas of the jujuba mm-hmm. trees. Yes. And this is very acceptable from the economical point of view, because actually once you grow the jujuba trees, you're gonna have the oil that you produce from the jujuba, and you can have an industry next to it. Mm-hmm. You need to grow crops that you don't have to transport them outside the location of where they grew. Mm-hmm. I think the philosophy should be how to have sustainable development and use this area to help the redistribution of the population geographically. Mm-hmm. The Awainat area to mm-hmm. the south of Tushka. By the way, Tushka is not a new name. Mm-hmm. Tushka is a name of a Nubian village that used to be there since God actually made Egypt. Mm-hmm. So actually, we need to bring back this area to life. Mm-hmm. Now you have a complete program. Now you've dug a channel, a 26-kilometer channel, that you can actually use it mm-hmm. to make the water reach better quality soil mm-hmm. and just help develop the area in a reasonable way. Yes. I think it's a dream that is being fulfilled right now. The area from Awainat Tushka, all the way to the north, all the way to Farafra. This area is a very promising area, and I think hopefully in the future we will see different activities, industries that established to use raw materials produced in this area. I think also connecting Darb al-Arba'in, which is the path from Sudan to Egypt, where all the cattle and camels actually cross the border to Egypt, all the way to Sohag. I think this area will be subject to development, and I think hopefully in the future I dream of man-made meadows in this particular area on the banks of Lake Nasser actually. Because the man-made meadows, or meadows generally speaking, do not consume a lot of water. It uses only 25% of the regular water used for regular plantations. So man-made meadows will change the climate of the area. You know, it will increase the percentage of humidity in the area. It's not a surprise now if it rains, and why not? Because actually it started to rain some time ago, since we started to grow things. So the changing the face of the desert to be green will actually help improve the climate and make it more suitable for agro activities.
Engineer Shaaban, now you've mentioned digging up the 26-kilometer lake or channel from Lake Nasser all the way. It would cover the whole distance up until even Awainet and Farafra. Now, do you feel that this channel would be enough as a water resource for the cultivation in this land, or will we still need to find some underground water, use and apply advanced irrigation methods? How do you think, because the water scarcity, it's 500 cubic meters per person now, it used to be 1,000, and water is a matter of national security. So what about the cultivation and the irrigation of this vast amount of desert land, and it's a sandy soil, as you've mentioned?
It's a combination. We definitely need more water. What we're doing right now is we're stretching our chances just to be able to utilize the amount of water that we have. But choosing the right crop, choosing the right methods of irrigation, whether pivots, whether sprinklers, whether also very important, I'm just repeating this, and I mentioned it in an earlier program, I think if we're going to grow trees, which is, I recommend that, because you will not be able to grow wheat every year, because it actually exhausts the land. This area will be subject to fatigue, and it's a year in and year out. So you're going to have to grow a crop that actually adds some minerals to the soil. But I again recommend the dredging of the Nasser Lake and getting a lot of the mud, the silt that was settled in on the bottom of the lake and the banks of the lake, and dry it, put it in sacks, and use it to grow trees all the way in the desert, because really every tree requires only 2 sacks. And you don't have to change the face of the desert, just where you're going to grow. This would improve seepage conditions if you grow trees, because if you add the mud to the sandy soil, it will be able to hold the irrigation water a little bit and be humid for some time.
Yes.
And this will actually make us grow larger areas of plantations.
Yes.
So we have a fortune, we have a treasure in under the water of the Nasser Lake. And I hope that, a dredger or two that actually worked in the Suez Canal some time ago be there all the time. The Dakota Dam in the U.S., South Dakota Dam, actually they have a dredger trapped behind the dam permanently, lifetime dredging. It dredges the mud and put it on the banks of the lake, and they use it. I think there is nothing better than the Nile River mud.
Yes. So now you've mentioned the crops that would be cultivated and that would be, you've mentioned wheat, which is a crop that could be cultivated year in, year out. Now, when we always speak about food security and self-sufficiency, does that mean that concerning wheat in specific, now we can work some sort of a scheduling between Upper Egypt and Tushka and the new delta up north? Can we work some sort of a system that, in a way, secure our need for food and need for wheat in specific? And if we're going to grow other crops, what other crops would you recommend to be used and cultivated that would, number one, make sure we are secure in terms of food and commodities and necessary commodities, and at the same time growing products that would be exported?
What you've just mentioned requires a lot of management, actually. This is a management issue. I think what you all mentioned actually is very important, because I think we have to look across our borders. I think growing crops that could fill certain gaps that can fill the gap of the wheat, like barley.
Yes.
A country like our friends in Turkey, they actually made a crusader actually to tell everybody that white flour is not very healthy. The better quality of flour actually is made out of barley, which is true, by the way. But it's a culture that we need to make people really try. And I think the North Coast was an excellent place to grow barley. It's a main crop over there, and I think the people in the area are masters in growing barley and olive oil and all of this. This is two main crops that we should concentrate on. I think if we go to the south, we will be able to grow a lot of vegetables and fruits. I think, in my humble opinion, that the fertile soil of the delta and the valley should be used for strategic crops, and fruits, vegetable will yield good crops in the desert. From our experience, the philosophy of using desert to grow things is not really very still acceptable.
Yes.
No, there is a lot of kinds of fruit that grows perfectly in desert. Mango. Why should we just occupy the delta and the valley with mango trees, while they grow very well in the desert.
Yes.
Oranges, same. Tangerine, all of this. This is why I recommend really the combination of the mud, the soil that you take from the Aswan, the Nasser Lake, and cultivate the desert with growing trees that, you know, fruit trees, and keep the delta and the valley for strategic crops, cotton, wheat. It doesn't make sense still today that at the same time you grow wheat in the delta and the valley, you grow clover. The clover occupies 1.5 million faddans, and this is cattle food.
Yes.
I think we can grow the clover in the desert using special species like Higazi clover, and it grows very good in the desert. And the areas that we used to grow clover, we use it to grow wheat.
Yes.
So we just need management. It's a matter of management. I think the government actually assist the farmers by giving them you know, subsidized fertilizers. And I think the farmers that grow the strategic crops that will be given to the government later or sold to the government deserves these subsidized fertilizers.
Yes.
Because actually you just need to give an incentive to the farmers to serve your program.
Yes. Engineer Shaaban, now you're an expert in farmers' affairs. Now, you spoke about motivating the people and the farmers to move into the towards the Tushka al-Khir, the revival project. Now, this is 250 kilometers south of Aswan. How would you motivate farmers to move to Upper Egypt towards the Tushka al-Khir project and motivate them and start having a first-hand sort of experience in such an important and integral project?
There is a lot of ways actually that we need to consider. First of all, the military service. You could actually have a lot of the young people who will serve in the army for military service in this particular area, and they can contribute to building simple houses, train them to build simple houses and nothing luxurious, and give them privileges if they get married. And we could give you this little house and you settle over here and we will give you a job. Form a shareholding mega company and give everybody shares with reasonable prices, and you know, create jobs for them. They don't have to stick to their graduation degrees. I mean, they could change their you know, it's
careers and lives. Yeah.
You have to change in order to get a chance to have a new life. Have an incentive. I think you need the cooperative. You know, the cooperative agricultural organization could play a major role in this, and you know, work with the Farmers Bank and with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Army to create villages in these areas. I think also having industries over there will attract a lot of labor, but you need to have small villages next to the factories. Perfume plantations that you can make perfumes out of the jasmine and so forth, instead of just exporting it to abroad as a raw material, you can manufacture a final product over in Egypt. A lot of ideas, actually. You need to create chances for people to come and settle and have a stable income, so they wouldn't be exposed to any kind of pressures. Have schools, facilities, and you know, you need to consider all of this. Why not area is an excellent area, Tushka also, and we need to use the expertise of the Nubians over there in growing cattle and growing camels. And I dream of a huge camel farm in this particular area, because it's very suitable for this, and it will you know, make Egypt self-sufficient of you know, meat, and instead of just importing it all the time. We need to have really a very ambitious program, and I think the army is doing a good job by opening the door. Once they open the door, we need to charge in. And we need a program for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, some of these ambitions are self-sufficiency, land reclamation, record-breaking exports are some of Egypt's agricultural sector strategy and goals. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.